Hello, my friends. Jeffrey Shaw here from Grow to Your Potential. As we continue our journey towards better communication, today I will be sharing with you the second of 4 tips on how to improve your communication as we talk about the need to create space to test assumptions. Even though I know the value of this, I have to admit, sometimes I win and sometimes I learn. As we work to improve our communication, it is easy to fall back into old habits. The more invested and passionate we are in something, the easier that is. The other day, I had a conversation that I really hoped would be a win, and yet it ended up as a learn. The conversation itself was tricky as it involved a subject I'm very passionate about, as well as people with varying perspectives. The meeting was called so others could gain a better understanding of my perspective. And here is where I fell into the trap. As I went into this meeting, I was prepared to help them understand my views, just as they asked, while being perceptive of their perspectives. Although I navigated the conversation fairly well, I missed many opportunities to expose and test assumptions that could have led to better understanding all around. Rather than maintain a focus on curiosity, I continually shifted into more of a teaching and telling style of communication. There were moments of curiosity and asking great questions, but this was not kept as a main focus through the conversation. As a result, the meeting paled in comparison to what could have been accomplished. If I was given the opportunity to do this conversation over again, one of the biggest changes I would make would be to create space to expose and challenge assumptions. There are a couple of ways in which this could have been done. One would have been to actually dedicate time in the conversation for stating our assumptions and taking time to test or explore how they may be true and how they may be false. This creates a more open dialogue where both parties work together to prove an assumption false and prove how it is true. From that position, it is easier to come to a possible agreement or joint understanding. The other way I would have created space would have been in my thinking. This would involve going into that meeting, having spent time getting curious about the various assumptions I have, as well as those others may have. Taking the time pre-meeting to get curious about assumptions makes it so much easier to be curious during the meeting. By employing these 2 strategies, creating space both physically and mentally to expose and challenge assumptions, we have an easier time remaining curious while avoiding defensive debate style communication. As you continue your journey to better communication, I encourage you to join me in creating the space to explore and test assumptions. Well, that brings us to the end of tip number 2 on how to improve your communication. Join me again next week as I share tip number 3. And trust me, you will not want to miss this one as it is a real game changer in bettering teams and relationships. Hope to see you then. Take care.